I tend to find that crypto like reacts like very much like on this news of like a little kid that didn't get 90 like 100% of what it wanted. It's like, hold on, wait a minute, let's backtrack here. You have an order that says that they're considering a stockpile.
They've got the ice cream, they've got the hot fudge, they've got the whipped cream, they got the sprinkles, they got everything in there, and they're bitching that they didn't have a cherry on top. Today's episode is sponsored by GEODNET. They're a leading DPIN protocol that's providing critical location and spatial intelligence services needed for AI-driven robots and drones. Discover how the network's native token, GEOD, is powering the next wave of the robotics revolution by hitting the link in the description of today's episode. Today's episode is brought to you by Unichain, an upcoming layer 2 that's purpose-built for the next generation of DeFi applications. With up to 95% lower fees than Ethereum and 250 millisecond block times coming soon after launch, Unichain is designing the future of cross-chain liquidity. Stay ahead of the launch by visiting unichain.org and giving Unichain a follow on X. Hey everyone, Jason here. There's a reason why Ledger is trusted to secure more than 20% of the world's crypto assets today. Check out their newest devices, the Ledger Stacks and the Ledger Flex, featuring the world's first secure touchscreens. Take your security seriously. Hit the link in the show notes of today's episode to check out their latest devices. Trust me, you won't regret it. And we are live. What's up, folks? Santi, how are the slopes?
Amazing. It just snowed. We can only go out half the day, but my God, there's no friend zone powder day. It was good.
So you just have no clue what's happening in crypto right now.
I have no clue. I just come back to the real world, and we did, to be fair, record like earlier today, and then we had to interrupt it. And Yano just informed me that things have changed as of this morning. So you will be seeing the
things have changed. Things have changed. Yeah.
Things have changed.
Things have changed, my guy.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we did. We actually recorded like a good 20-minute segment. Santi just.
I even made sure to wear like the same thing so that
I know you are wearing the same. I did notice that.
I mean, someone has commented before. Is like the guy wears the same fucking sweaters over and over. I'm like,
this is a new one though. I like this one.
Thank you.
It's a good white. Yeah, it's a good logo. All right.
I haven't gotten the Blockworks merch.
We sent it to you.
I'm gonna go pick it up in New York in 2 weeks. All right.
Nice. All right.
It's my promise to you.
Nice. Are you gonna? How much time do you think you'll spend in New York?
Yeah, like a week every month or so.
Nice.
Yeah, I missed you too much, man.
There you go. Our the fun news for you. I haven't even told you this. We're almost done building this really sick in-person studio, a full podcast studio at our office. Yeah, in that back room where like in the poker games, the bank sits back there. That is turning into a full studio with like two really nice video cameras, mics. We can do in-person recordings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah. All right.
So what's going on in crypto?
All right, should we rerun the first 15 minutes of our segment and then and then get into it? Here, I do actually want to. I thought what we talked about last time was important. So it's been an insane week. Like there's so much to talk about. We could do a full segment on most of these topics. Probably one of the crazier weeks I've seen in my several years in crypto, and I would guess yours too. So Ethereum Foundation stuff has been crazy, right? The big ETH maxis were dropping their .eths. We talked about this a little bit on the Trump coin recording, but it got crazier this week, right? Everyone's putting out proposals for how the Ethereum Foundation should improve, and a second Ethereum Foundation launched that I think it was Lomashuk launched
Constantine from Lido, yeah.
Yeah, Constantine from
Validator.
Yeah, launched it. Justin Sun is weighing in on how to improve it. And then it kind of culminated in the launch of this thing called Etherealize, which we can talk about if we want, which is like this institutional BD arm of Ethereum. So that happened. The number of ETFs launching or actually getting filed grew drastically. Hester Pierce, kind of crypto mom, took over this task force at the SEC. Circle made an acquisition of Hashnote. Larry Fink and the Bank of America CEO had some bullish crypto takes. The founder of Vine and HQ Trivia launched Vine Coin. World Liberty is buying a bunch of crypto. iPhone apps, top 10, I think 7 of them are crypto apps. A lot of progress on strategic Bitcoin reserve. Lummis. Trump made some announcements. SAB 121. I just saw this right before we hit record. It's like 7 o'clock on Thursday night. Just got repealed, I think. So banks can now custody crypto. But the thing I actually want to start with is, so anyways, are you caught up? There's your news of the week. You feel good?
Very much so. I'm looking at the interesting thing, as you were saying all of that, I'm looking at prices, and you would think that there would be more movement there. It's actually, a lot of it is down.
So I actually did want to just highlight what I thought was one of the cooler things this week that I didn't just mention, which I will pull this up right now, which is Ross Ulbricht got freed. So Ross Ulbricht got pardoned. And for those who don't know who Ross is, so this is just a great picture of him hugging his I think this is his wife, his mom, and his dad and his sister. Just definitely pretty emotional pictures here. So Ross was the founder of this thing called Silk Road, which I'm sure some people have used, most have heard of, and maybe some of you don't know. But just a reminder, like he launched this thing called Silk Road in 2011. At one point in time, it was responsible for 90% of all the Bitcoin transactions. It was doing, I think it was doing like 25 million a year in sales. They only accepted Bitcoin was the thing. So they had all these different things that they offered, right? And I'll share a picture of this. So if you see right here, they had all these different things that you could buy on the Silk Road. So you could buy computer equipment and all this kind of different stuff, books, apparel. But everybody knew the Silk Road for buying drugs. So because of that, people came after Ross, right? And the folks who came after Ross, unfortunately, was basically every government agency in the world came after Ross, and that kind of culminated in. Here, I'll share this one more time. Put it back up on the screen because it's a lovely picture. That culminated in them taking Ross's Bitcoin, right? He had 144,000 Bitcoin. He was one of the largest holders of Bitcoin in the whole network. But not only did they take the Bitcoin, he was sentenced to a 2x life sentence, 2 life sentences and 40 years, no parole, basically a death sentence. US government auctioned off his Bitcoin. That was a big deal, went kind of mainstream. DEA agents stole 80,000 Bitcoin from Ross. They were like these really scummy DEA agents. Anyways, crazy story. Just very good, feel good story. And it's the start of this. I think this episode should be titled President Trump follows through on his crypto things that he's on his crypto actions, right? You've got repealing SAB 121, no CBDC, and pardoning Ross. So I don't know. I don't know if have you ever met Ross? I don't know. I just thought this was a fun, feel good story to start with.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing to see. Obviously, what is also really good was Trump's tweet of acknowledging the support that he'd received from the community, and making a comment around the same hostility that he received was the same that the same sort of treatment that Ross got. And I don't know, it was just really good to see. Obviously, Trump continues to execute on his promises, and that's very encouraging.
Yeah. All right. Getting into the news outside of Ross. So this was big, right? Senator Lummis, who has kind of been I think she's the one who proposed this thing called the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve that has become kind of the talk of the town right now. When we were recording, I think there was 30% odds on Polymarket that an SBR happened. I was saying, I think it's more like 70%, 80%. And we had to re-record this thing because, well, since then, Trump has come out with an executive order, which we'll talk about in a second. But Lummis, very importantly, Lummis is now chairing. It got announced that she is chairing the Senate Sub-Banking Committee, the Senate Banking Subcommittee on Digital Assets. She, like I said, pushed for the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. She was also very helpful in pushing regulatory clarity with kind of thoughtful legislation instead of just regulation by enforcement. And she was also very influential, I would say, in exposing Operation Choke Point 2.0. So very important appointment here of Lummis. The reason it's important, and I think we'll just, we don't have to bury the lead here. Let's pull up this Trump tweet. Okay, this is the White House strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. So Trump signed this executive order, everybody right out of the gate thought it was a strategic Bitcoin reserve, right? This was the strategic Bitcoin reserve. This is it. We got it. Things start pumping. Everyone's going crazy. It turns out it is not the strategic Bitcoin reserve. It is the language that they used is a stockpile. So I think we can probably here. So the working group shall evaluate the potential creation and maintenance of a national digital asset stockpile. Have you seen this yet? Or were you on the slopes? No, you're on the slopes. So basically, they announced this executive order, national digital asset stockpile, and proposed criteria for establishing such a stockpile, potentially derived from crypto lawfully seized by the federal government. All right. What is important about this? It's important that it says the word stockpile and doesn't say the words reserve. And it's also important that it says the word crypto currencies, doesn't say the word Bitcoin. And it's also important that it's assets that are seized, not assets they're buying, right? So those are my three takes. So that in my mind, what this basically says is the US government's sitting on a bunch of Bitcoin, they're not going to sell it. And not only Bitcoin, I think it's basically Bitcoin, ETH, bunch of stable coins like Tether and USDC, and some BNB, I'm pretty sure. They're not actually, this is not the strategic Bitcoin reserve, unfortunately.
Do you think it's like, I mean, obviously the odds in poly market are down like 19, are down from 37 to 19. The market resolves in April. Is it, are the odds down because of the interpretation of that? Because I think the specifics of the market itself were such that I believe it excluded seized Bitcoin or currencies. It had to be a purchase. Here, I'm trying to pull it up.
Yeah. So will Trump create? So I think are you talking about this one?
Yeah.
Will Trump
So
create a Bitcoin reserve in the first 100
exactly that.
days? Okay. So
Note that the U.S. government confiscating Bitcoin does not count as holding Bitcoin reserve. So for that reason, I think the odds are down. I mean, this should be like 0, right?
Yeah. So my take on this is that I still strongly believe we're getting a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I really still strong. I know the odds are down to 19% on poly market, but the key thing here is in the first 100 days. So I think the reason I was bringing up Lummis is super important to this because I think this is about as far as Trump is going to go with this executive order. I don't think we're going to get a Trump executive order to launch a strategic Bitcoin reserve, but I do think we'll still get a strategic Bitcoin reserve. How that will get pushed through is through the reconciliation bill. So I think what will happen, the reconciliation bill is kind of this like, I don't know the right word to put it, but way to put it, it's kind of like this Christmas bill. It's like a Christmas tree where everyone's got their own. I'm Jewish. This analogy is going to break down quickly. What are the things you hang on Christmas trees?
Dude, I mean,
Dude, you got to know this.
I'm also partly Jewish.
You're partly Jewish?
Yeah.
Wow, my guy. Welcome to the tribe.
Shalom.
Shalom. What? No. Okay, Santi.
I mean, dude, I don't know what people put on Christmas trees. Like
stockings?
Like,
no. What are
No, stockings are in the fireplace. No, they're like little. I don't know.
The things, you know. Oh my god.
Why does this even matter?
It's part of my story. It's part of my story. The analogy is not going to make sense.
We're not going to edit this, Joseph. We will not edit this. The record show that Yano
everyone knows except for you.
Ready to have a family,
except for you and me, what we're talking about. Everyone else knows what we're talking about. So, anyways, the reconciliation bill is this Christmas tree bill where everyone kind of pushes through their own little thing. It's like, anyway, fuck. See, the story doesn't work without it. Anyways, reconciliation bill. I think we'll get the strategic Bitcoin reserve. They need all of that's why Lummis is tweeting things out like, hey, reach across the aisle, get the, be friends with the Dems, because I think all the Republicans will probably vote for the reconciliation bill. They need every Republican. They probably need some Democrats to vote for this thing too. I haven't done the actual, I really don't know too much about the reconciliation bill, but from what I've heard from several folks, that's how this thing's going to get through. Now, there was a pretty interesting tweet from, Pierre Richard, who you don't hear much from these days, but he tweeted out. Here, do you know what I'm talking about? Here we go.
Listen,
This is about Ripple. So Pierre tweeted out the biggest obstacle for the strategic Bitcoin reserve is not the Fed, the Treasury, the banks, or Elizabeth Warren. It is Ripple XRP. They're aggressively lobbying against the strategic Bitcoin reserve by throwing around millions at politicians, desperately trying to derail it. So this is a very over the top kind of attack at Ripple, I would say. There is Brad Garlinghouse actually commented on it. There is a little bit of truth, and there's falsities and there's truth to this. So it's not true that Ripple is lobbying against the SBR and trying to basically like Ripple would benefit from the SBR, but what I have heard behind the scenes is that they are strongly lobbying to make this a strategic crypto reserve and not a Bitcoin reserve. So let's start to maybe. Right, because obviously they want Ripple included in this thing. They don't want it to just be Bitcoin. So if you start to the reason I'm bringing this up, you start to piece together some of these things. So, right, let's go back to this. So they said a digital asset stockpile, not a Bitcoin stockpile.
They're gonna buy a basket of currencies, and then you have to wonder: is it gonna map to what World Liberty is buying, and or are they gonna be U.S. based coins? And well, one has to wonder. David Sachs was an LP in Multicoin, and does that have any weighting into how the basket is composed? I gotta believe that yes. And while we are recording, prices are down, so yeah, make whatever it is that you want to make out of it.
Right.
But the market is acting quite irrational here. I think overly. I don't know. I tend to find that crypto like reacts like very much like on this news of like a little kid that didn't get 90 like 100% of what it wanted. It's like, hold on, wait a minute, let's backtrack here. You have an order that says that they're considering a stockpile. 2 weeks ago we were thinking about like the market panicking, and we recorded that great episode with what is it, the asset reality guys,
Yeah.
talking about seizure and forfeiture, and the market was puking because everyone was so worried that the government was going to sell the Bitcoin. Now you have an order here, executive order that says they're not going to sell it, so the market should be equally reacting positively to that. Yet it's not, because it didn't get exactly what it wanted.
That is so well said, Santi. It is
I mean, it
like
was like
it is like
this is you
it's
want to
like
make
the
money in
kid.
crypto? Just
The kid
focus
just
on.
you just gave the kid an ice cream sundae, right? You gave the kid an ice cream sundae. They've got the ice cream, they've got the hot fudge, they've got the whipped cream, they got the sprinkles, they got everything in there, and they're bitching that they didn't have a cherry on top.
Listen, you bitch all you want. You know what I'm doing on chain. Like, for me, it's like this is the temporary moments of irrationality that this market is just like, it's difficult to understand. And everyone might say, wait a minute, dude, it's been priced in. Like, everyone thought that it was going to happen. And, there was a huge rally before, from November till now. Bitcoin's still roughly at 100. Ethereum's at 33K, but it's basically a stable coin. Solana's gone up a bit because obviously everything that's transpired. I mean, it just crossed 200 billion in volume. Like, it's bananas. And Trump deployed a meme coin there. But the market's just like really this like very finicky, temperamental kid, and it has been for a while. But like, it's just important to like zoom out. If you were to ask anyone in crypto if how would they respond to everything that's happened over the last 10 days, they would have been like, I would like mortgage my house, sell a kidney, and go gig along. Like, none of this is financial advice, but that's what most people would say.
That's
And
true. Yeah.
yet now you're seeing this like noise in the market. And people are overly analytical, quote unquote, around, Trump shouldn't have launched meme coin, and it's not the right thing to do, and all these little things. So it's just a reminder that zoom out, focus on the overall trend, and there's a lot of signal and things that also are really overlooked during these chaotic times, right? Like SAB, what is it, 121 being repealed, right? Is it
Yeah.
121?
Yeah,
Like,
Matt.
huge,
I mean, there's
massive,
massive,
massive.
right?
Man,
Like,
Larry Fink tweeted, and quoting this from Walter Bloomberg, he says, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says, I want the SEC to rapidly approve the tokenization of bonds and stocks. Like, I mean, like, you now have, by the way, over the last couple of days, Solana reach volumes that are not that far away from what the Nasdaq does. And you saw the entire Solana dev community come together, and what I think was pretty much a flawless processing of this massive spike in interest and usage. You had top to bottom, like just from wallets like Moonshot, Phantom to Jito, like everything was just very positive. And yet, the market's really noisy. But yeah, you're gonna play this video.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I can. I don't have the technical prowess to play the video while we're on the podcast. But
Yeah.
there's a 3-minute clip from Davos, it was Davos weekend or week, whatever you want to call it. And I feel like honestly, people at this point go to Davos to have this classic interview with Andrew Ross Sorkin in the
Probably.
snow. Like you don't go to Davos for anything else other than
Yeah.
this interview.
Davos is kind of dead, really.
Davos is dead. But anyways, Larry Fink said, I want the SEC to rapidly approve the tokenization
Yeah.
of bonds and stocks. Also,
By the way, can we also acknowledge the executive order that you just brought up? There is, and I'm seeing a tweet from Stani. Shout out to Stani. You should maybe come back on. Section 1, purposes and policies, clause I. It references something that is, well, I will quote, there we go. Protecting and promoting the ability of individual citizens and private sector entities to access and use for lawful purposes open public blockchain networks without persecution, including the ability to develop and deploy software that, think about Tornado and all these, like deploying software, to participate in minting and validating, to transact with other persons without unlawful censorship, and to maintain self-custody of digital assets.
stupidly,
Huge.
but American DeFi. Like you could.
I mean, like, forget about American Deep. I mean, it's just like like this is incredibly powerful. Like,
Yeah.
go listen to all the regulatory episodes with Jake and Rebecca. I don't know how else to put it, folks.
Yeah.
Now, the I'm gonna use like the hands, like I don't know how else to put it. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Also, this.
You also have to juxtapose, like, pull up Mike Dudas's tweets because
No. Also, this. Commissioner Pierce. We've loved this person. She's been the only pro.
Not to mention, she's now at the SEC.
The only pro commissioner, SEC commissioner we've had for years. She really gets crypto more than everyone else. She's now leading the SEC's new crypto task force. Like it doesn't get better than this, folks.
Listen, yeah, but there's you got to juxtapose that. Can we also talk about? I mean, I think
You want me to pull up, what did Dudas do? You want me to pull up Dudas's thing?
he's just been documenting his experience with Coinbase and then like contrasting it with Kraken. It's just, and we should like pull up a balanced take. And there's also like a response from like Mert commented on this because Mert used to work at Coinbase, and then like Brian Armstrong comes out.
You're talking about Coinbase not supporting Solana?
It's just been like a bit underwhelming. Not only that, but it's just like that plus also like the new policies that went into effect around sending money on chain, like this traveling rule kind of thing.
I didn't see this.
There's been a lot of Coinbase has gotten it on the chin recently across a number of fronts. But
can I tell you my take on this though? This is every bull market they take it on the chin, and then in the bear markets people love Coinbase. But bear
how many
markets
times have we advocated here? I think for a while, and still, Coinbase doesn't get enough credibility for the entire amount of support that they've done, top to bottom. You know how much bullish I am on it, but it's worth noting that like people haven't had like the experience that you used to having with Solana, like supporting Solana. And I don't want to read too much into it, but it's just a fact, right? I mean, for a while, like you can't send USDC on Solana like through Coinbase Prime, like for.
Like, I would guess Brian tweeted. I would guess that gets fixed. I think this will. I think this is a.
You gotta believe that. Like, how much money are they leaving on the table?
I mean, I don't know. They've got base. Like I would guess there's. I think they'll fix this. I think this is a non-issue.
The thing that Dudas, if you guys are viewing it, he mentions that he can't send. He screenshots this. He can't send crypto to self-hosted wallets, right? It's basically what's happening. I wonder if you go back to what we just referenced in the executive order, that's, I would interpret it as something that would, allow now to continue to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, probably.
Like the right to
Um,
self-custody.
Yeah. By the way, here's what Brian said. We have the Solana backlog triaged and transactions should generate quickly. If your transaction got canceled, you can retry. Apologies for the trouble. It's clear we need to step up our game on Solana, scale the infra, and provide native support for common use cases like DEX, memecoin trading. Our goal is to provide tier 1 support for Solana with the same level of support as Bitcoin, ETH, and Base, which also saw delays recently due to large surges. Okay, let me take it away from Coinbase for a second, because you're a big I know you're an angel and a lot of kind of the OG DeFi players. DeFi has not gotten too much attention
Since I left Verify.
since you left Verify in the last couple of years. What do you think the impact of all of this is on DeFi as a sector? What are you eating? You were eating the exact same thing last time.
It's a collagen iced coffee thing. Folks, I'm getting older. My birthday was recently.
When was your birthday?
For everyone wondering what my zodiac sign is, it's Aquarius.
Wow.
But you already knew that by now. By the way, have you seen that meme where it's like they're dating? It's like Love Island, and the girl's like, "So what do you do for a living?" The guy says, "I'm an astrophysicist," and she's like, "Okay, I'm a Gemini." And the guy's like, "For fuck's sake."
Okay.
Anyways, I'm getting older. So
Wow, Aquarius and Pisces, special connection, it appears.
Are you a Pisces?
Let's go. Yeah. Aquarius, forward thinking and optimistic. There we go.
Are we really turning into a
Do you remember Marin the last cycle?
I was literally just thinking about that.
We almost launched a podcast with Marin. That show would have ripped.
Yeah. Well, there's an interesting evolution of that.
GEODNET is a first-of-its-kind DPIN protocol that's revolutionizing satellite navigation services. They're actively generating on-chain revenue that's growing 500% year over year by providing precision location services that are 100 times more accurate than standard GPS. On Empire, we always talk about finding how crypto can power completely new business models, and they're a perfect example of this. They're already trusted by over 30 enterprise customers across industries, including automotive, agriculture, construction, and even robotics. The network is powered by its native token, GEOD, and easily mined with their satellite miner. By setting up a base station, you can get involved with this groundbreaking Web3 ecosystem. Learn more by heading over to geodnet.com or just by hitting the link in the description of today's episode. Today's episode is brought to you by Unichain, an upcoming Layer 2 solution that's changing DeFi forever. It's built with a vision to be the home for cross-chain liquidity and DeFi innovation. As part of the Optimism superchain, Unichain brings you up to 95% cheaper transactions than Ethereum's base layer, as well as near instant finality with 250 millisecond block times coming shortly after mainnet launch. To make things even better, seamless cross-chain transactions. If you're a developer, this means you can build DeFi applications that truly push the envelope of what's possible on-chain. Visit unichain.org or follow Unichain on X to stay updated on the launch, upcoming features, and getting started on building your dream applications. Earlier in today's episode, I mentioned Ledger's latest products, the Stacks and Flex, and I wanted to take a few seconds to tell you more about them. These wallets feature the world's first secure touchscreens, which don't just simplify your digital transactions, but also keep them extremely safe. These wallets are virtually impenetrable to online attacks because they store your private key in a secure offline chip. You can manage more than 5,500 tokens and install up to 100 apps. Choose the most trusted name in hardware wallets and take control of your digital security today at ledger.com or hit the link in the description of today's episode to check out their latest wallets. What happens to DeFi? I mean, Trump is basic. I mean, American DeFi is back on the table.
I mean, World Liberty's buying like Aave and a bunch of DeFi coins, right?
Yeah.
Here's my take. I want to zoom out. I had a tweet about this the other day. The biggest problem crypto has is just a go-to-market problem. Obviously, DeFi is incredible infrastructure that's there. But like I just had another portfolio company that closed shop.
Mm.
And for the same reason that 9 out of 10 have closed shop, which is we built something and users didn't show up. And a lot of them did like, it's good tech. It's just I just think that like DeFi, there's only like very limited people on DeFi like on chain, super active and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
doing yield farming strategies and whatever. We need to grow the number of users, daily active users by like 10x this cycle. Like we don't have 10 years. We have like 4 years to really figure this out. And I think in my conversations with everyone in the like as many people in the industry, they're like, well, we're trying to convince businesses, but they don't really care. And you're like, okay, fine, regulations clearing up. Maybe they do now. Well, like DeFi should always be invisible. The best tech is invisible. I think that's like the end state for crypto, where you're supporting a lot of use cases and services, and they're just powered by decentralized infrastructure, decentralized open protocols. But I think we're just at a point where we need to like, how do we expand the pie? And like we're we're still facing resistance from businesses. That's like a slow. Maybe you can weigh in here, but like when you go and pitch to normal businesses about like advertising or whatever, or selling the research stuff, maybe there's some uptick, but it's still like it takes a lot of time to convince people to use this thing. So I don't know. I just think that like the bullish case for DeFi is it's incredible infrastructure. It's very battle tested. It is amazing to offer yield opportunities like Blur, like fintech. You're already seeing Nubank. You're seeing Robinhood. There's like all the breadcrumbs are there. You know, it's gonna work. I mean, it's working. The real thing that the opportunity and the challenge is like how do we can like bring more and more users on chain. No one likes to think about their bank account or recursively leveraging USDC across all these different protocols. Um, but DeFi and other crypto protocols are not really going to break out, including Deepin, unless we grow the user base like by an order of magnitude. And you know how I feel about that. But that's the biggest problem we have. It's a go-to-market problem. It's not tech. It's not composability. It's none of that. It's like get users on chain and lead with a stablecoin. Everyone in the world wants a tokenized dollar. But we're
Yeah.
not growing that meaningfully.
What is the, I feel like, are you, so I understand the problem. What is the solution in your mind?
You know what the solution is? Like,
I mean, I'll give you one solution. I'll give you the stats on one solution,
which
which
is
is, I know, not what you were getting at, actually. But here's some stats. 50% of Trump Melania holders had never bought a Solana altcoin before. Altcoin meaning just not a stable coin or not Sol. 47% of buyers created their wallets the same day they purchased the token. Obviously,
Mhm.
that's not all new users, right? Like I'm guessing I created a new wallet to buy. And then 83% of holders own less than $1,000 of Solana assets.
Mhm.
So one way to onboard people is to give them an opportunity to make money. The other way is
Yeah, man, but
to,
that's always been the case, and like, there's only so many people, and it's very self-referential and reflexive.
so you think, I mean, I had this prediction at the beginning of the year, crypto native companies will start buying traditional businesses. I'm guessing that's what you're getting into.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not
Do,
to toot
do
my
we can
horn.
we get can we get an update on inversion or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's I've I guess where to start. I'm actively looking at one asset that has if I buy it, it will make me the largest protocol by number of users. um like there's only 30 to 60 million active users. This business has more than 20 million users.
Mm,
That's one business, single shot. Now, how many of them are going to use stable coins and how many of them I'm going to convert? I don't know. I think a lot. It's a business that is based in Latin America. It's that user base doesn't know it yet, but will love stable coins. And I think the comp here is like Nubank, which I think is like a company that people should pay attention to. They started as a fintech in Brazil. Brazilian demographics, like super young, relatively young user base, like digitally savvy. They got a ton of success, and then they launched their own mobile service as an MVNO. An MVNO means just a mobile carrier without like physical infrastructure. And now they're offering USDC, and the stats are crazy. I mean, it's getting all this uptake. They have Nubank's like a really good case study here of how more and more companies might start leveraging and getting their user base in a crypto, because it helps them retain that user base. It helps them capture more wallet share and monetize that user base, right? If you're a new bank, you all of a sudden, you know, are probably retaining that user base far more than the competitor, because you're offering them the ability to hold dollars and capture yield. And that's super compelling, right? And I think if you're a fintech or a neobank, and you best believe that Revolut and all the other neobanks are paying attention to what Nubank is doing. So anyways, all this to say is like, I think there's like really encouraging signs of like traditional businesses, uh, um, paying attention and to stable coins. But I think it's still going to take naturally time. There is, so what I'm looking to do is I'm looking at I think that the lines between mobile and fintech are blurring. People should go listen to the episode with Jumbo, which is kind of running this playbook of like getting a lot of phones in the hands of people in Africa and then like activating them on chain. I think they've sold over 700,000 mobile devices. They're selling them at a pretty attractive price point, and then they really are not interested in making money in the hardware. They're making money on other services, right? And the software, which is that playbook. So, not to give too much details, I'm very much focused. It it will I want to run it as Berkshire Hathaway kind of is my mental model, which is I never want to sell these businesses actually. And so it's not like a private equity fund, it's more of like a Berkshire construct.
Mm.
But yeah, like my goal, I want to become and I want to onboard um more than 100 million users. Like that's like, and I want to
Mm.
become the largest fintech and mobile carrier in Latin America.
Mm. All right. Godspeed, sir. Thanks
But
for the
yeah, I mean,
update.
yeah, that's like the long update.
If Empire listeners want to invest, are you taking small checks, or are you just doing? Are you raising? Are you Or we can punt this to another conversation too. But I'm curious.
I can't solicit, but I think there are. Look, I'm paying a lot of attention to Echo and what's happening there. And
Wow. Let's go. You heard it here first. Big raise on Echo.
look, I mean, it's
That'd be cool.
there's a great
That'd be cool.
pull up Kobe's tweet recently. I think there was a note by JP Morgan that like I don't know if it's I don't want to say, but Kobe had a good tweet
All right.
about JP Morgan like alluding to like the investing landscape in crypto changing because of yeah, there we go.
Wow. Did they actually? That is.
I don't know that. Yeah, JP Morgan. The quote of Kobe's like, "What JP Morgan predicts crypto VC funding will fall short," but I think he mentions something like,
No way. Oh, here it is. You know how much this pains me to share the blocks page? Killing
"I'm
me,
sorry,
Santi. Killing
I'm
me.
sorry, sir." Yeah, there we go, there we go, there we go.
According to
He
the
says,
report.
"quote unquote," another. Oh wait, what are you doing? Another factor that could impact the growth of crypto VC funding this year is a rise of community-driven fundraising platforms like Echo. Crypto projects increasingly avoid large token sales to VCs due to concerns over control and regulatory risks. The analysts warned that this shift could make it harder for traditional VCs to secure deals with promising
That's
startups.
amazing. That's
That's
amazing.
amazing. Shout out to
Yeah.
Kobe. I mean, amazing track. I mean, Mega ETH. You have all these different projects now launching there. Really great to see.
Yeah.
So honestly, like obviously, I'm paying attention to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I'll say.
There you go. Let's talk Ethereum Foundation. So
Yeah.
specifically, I'm curious. I mean, I think people know the Ethereum Foundation drama, which is people are really mad at the Ethereum Foundation for sucking, and they wanted to get better. And the .eth people.
Well, let's put some context, right? They're spending like $108 million a year.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit on the Trump
Yeah.
roundup, so we don't need to spend too much time on it. Basically, TLDR, people are really mad at Ethereum Foundation because ETH has turned into a stable coin, and Ethereum Foundation spending like over 100 million a year, and annually, and people are like, "What the hell are you doing?" And so everyone's really mad at it. I don't know if this was timed or what the deal was, but this thing called Etherealize launched on the 22nd, which is Wednesday. So, introducing Etherealize, an institutional marketing and product arm for the Ethereum ecosystem. Our goal to accelerate adoption by bringing institutions to Ethereum, the digital economy of tomorrow. All roads flow through ETH. We'll show the world why. So actually, just to skim this, Etherealize is a hub for content. They built this dashboard out. Looks pretty good. ETH needs more apps. Etherealize is working with Wall Street to make that happen.
Is this Constantine thing?
No, the
Or is this
Constantine's
separate,
thing is
right?
the new foundation.
this is
This
different,
is
yeah.
actually run by this guy. Actually, I'm not going to show my DMs.
Yeah.
Is run by this guy Vivek, who's here. Let me go to a different page and find my DMs. This guy, Vivek Raman. He is an ex-Wall Street high-yield credit trader who's at Morgan Stanley, UBS, Nomura, Yale. I've been chatting with him a little bit today. Seems like a really sharp guy, actually. And
Never talked to him, but yeah.
Yeah, I like it. This is my quick take. First off, anything that we can do for anything that Ethereum can do to change the narrative around it, a new foundation, a BD and marketing arm, I'm for it.
Is this like another? Wait a minute. Is this another consensus? Like where's consensus in all this?
Okay, so that was the meme. That was kind of the meme. Is hey guys, we already had this. It was called Consensus. They spent hundreds of millions. They literally, I think Consensus right now manages the JP Morgan blockchain.
Yeah, what it was, Quorum.
Quorum. I think that moved the fork of the fork. But this is what I said. I mean, I think I tweeted this about a year ago. I was like, the only thing Ethereum has going for it right now is that they are the chain that institutions are really comfortable with because it's got liquidity.
Yes and no, right? Yeah, yes and no, because like now increasingly like BlackRock's like exploring other chains. But I hear you.
They're exploring chains on Ethereum. Anyways, this is what I've been saying. I don't think Ethereum should lean into like money. We are money, and like we're the most decentralized. Like I don't think anyone gives a shit about that. I just don't. Ethereum is for institutions. That narrative has always made sense to me. And I thought they should have capitalized on this narrative a long time ago. I don't think it's too late. I think
yeah. What do you think happens? Like, I think like if you're in the room, right, and you're this guy, what's his name, Vivek? I can almost imagine Vivek going into these institutions saying, "Listen, guys, we're the most legitimate. We are by market cap, and we are the only other crypto project has an ETF." That's like probably what he's going to lead with, right? And he's going to spit out a bunch of metrics, which is fine. But like he's probably going to say, look, we're the only ETF. There's a reason for that. My question to you is, in a world where we have more ETFs, you just alluded to the fact that there's like increasingly like the surge in ETF filings. Say we have more ETF, the probability of a Solana ETF just spiked because David Sachs is, there. What do you think happens to this whole narrative around Ethereum is for institutions?
By the way, Solana ETF approved in 2025, 89%. Wow, interesting.
Everyone thought I was an idiot when I said that. Obviously, I didn't have insight into like. I'm obviously surprised of like Dave, Sachs appointment, whatever. But like, remember, like a year ago, I was like, someone's gonna have an ETF, and I was like, "There's no futures, all this crap," like all these folks. I'm like, okay, fine, sure. And
I know.
More likely than not, we're gonna have an ETF. Not only of Solana, we're gonna have an ETF of probably Ripple and other
Dogecoin and all this stuff. Okay, so what do I think he says? I don't know what he says, but here's what I do know. You've got Cygar, right? Cygar's building Abstract. I think Abstract is one of the coolest L2s on Ethereum right now. Really consumer focused, whatever. They've got the Pudgy Penguins connection, and he's like, look,
you should follow them, by the way.
Do I what?
You should follow them.
I do follow him.
No, you're not. You don't follow Abstract. Hit that follow button.
Why would I? I don't follow the chain.
Oh.
I follow the people behind the chain. Snap. I'm getting no airdrop confirmed. I'm getting no airdrop.
Definitely not.
Wow. Denied from that one comment.
Canceled.
Basically, I think Ethereum is okay. So I remember the Cosmos episode we did like 3 years ago. The first ever Cosmos.
Zaki and Jack and Jack and Zach.
Yeah, I think that was probably 3 years ago now, maybe 2 years ago. Probably no, I think probably 3. And they were like, look, you don't need a BD team. A protocol, an L1, an L2 doesn't need a BD team. The tech just needs to be good enough. And
by the way, on that point, Go to Zaki's profile right now,
Okay.
please.
I'm scared of
Please.
what I'm gonna find. But
Please. No, this
oh,
was. Oh,
this?
there we go. He said, "Here's the thing: change of tune." Obviously, I'm tuning my horn here, but he referenced my tweet. He says, "Go to market is the hardest part of crypto. For some reason, I keep doing them. The mistake that I alluded to." And it was just interesting. This is interesting because he, 2 years ago was saying we don't need a BD team, and he's coming to the realization again that like you actually do. Like you need to have an army of people evangelizing this stuff. It's
Yeah.
really hard.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So Cosmos on that episode, they're saying you don't need a BD team or sales team. You don't need people to handle the inbound because the tech and the docs should be good enough. You don't need to handle the outbound because word of mouth is good enough. Bullshit. That is I thought from day one that was a horrible strategy, and that's what I think this guy Vivek and Etherealize can maybe help with, even if you only improve it 10%.
Yeah, sure.
And the reason
Well,
I like that is because of Saigar's tweet, which is
mhm.
insane to me. No one from the Ethereum Foundation has ever reached out to
Oh
me
wow, yeah,
or
that's
anyone on Abstract. For context, that would be like someone like most institutions buy like, I don't know, 3-5 seats to Blockworks Research. That would be like someone coming along buying like 300 seats. Like JP Morgan signs up for Blockworks Research. They buy 300 seats and
and
no
no one
one from
reaches out.
Blockworks ever says,
No, that's crazy.
hey
I
guys, do
mean,
you want to do onboarding? Can we help you? Do you want a
yeah,
training?
like Kane had this similar tweet. Like he was like, "Hey, like we haven't DeFi's like dead in the Ethereum Foundation's roadmap. Like there's no funding there. There's no interest. It's like all pie in the sky, use cases." Vitalik actually in his recent tweet alluded to the fact that they're going to give DeFi more love, and it's like we hear you guys. It's interesting, like galvanization and like change of tune. I think Vitalik's on war mode again, I guess. Um, but here's the other thing. Like in my journey of like evaluating a lot of tech, as I think about like launching a chain for inversion, like I've talked to a lot of teams in crypto, and I will say like I'm I'm of the mind like and we talked about this in the episode. Like you have to run like product should be centralized. Like decision making, like the teams that run that, like Solana, Avalanche, like they're more agile. There's like one organization you go to, you can get a grant, you can talk to them. The support that you can get is, really strong. And that's because like it's just one organization. In Ethereum, you have just more factions, right? It's just very you have the Ethereum Foundation, you have consensus, you have like all these different units, like the L2s, right? And like the fragmentation is something that Ethereum's just farther along as a protocol that this happens, right? And so you're left wondering, are all the other large L1s gonna go in this similar direction and face a similar problem, which is you have more clients, right? You have Fire Dancer now. You have like what's gonna happen to Solana? Is it gonna retain its like centralization of product and as an entity you can go to, right, to get support? If you're like PayPal and want to launch a stable coin on Solana, you go to the foundation or you go to Solana Labs, like there's support there. You know what I mean? Like I think that's like super important when people like I hope that like the clarity on our regulation allows us to like not like push decentralization for the sake of decentralization to like just like for reasons that to protect yourself. And you could obviously like have security and decentralization and other parameters, but like I still think that the product decision should be quite centralized because it like we're still very early in crypto, and you never want to be in a position like where you can't to get
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
in past in Ethereum. It's like it's just quite challenging, right? And
yeah.
so the ability to move fast, the ability to pivot, to adjust to market conditions, to for institutions, it matters, right? Like if you're a JP Morgan or whatever, who at BlackRock, Robbie or whoever is at the helm there, who do they talk to in the Ethereum ecosystem? I bet it's like far easier for them to go talk to someone in Solana, like you know what I mean, like or Avalanche. Like they have like very dedicated, very buttoned up BD teams.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's why I think Ethereal. I don't know if it works or not. That's why I think
But like you
Etherealizes.
go talk to Etherealize, and does Vivek have any weight?
I think they. I mean, If the Ethereum Foundation was smart, they would give this guy weight.
Yeah, but yeah, good luck. I mean,
Yeah. All right. Pivot. Actually, last question on this. ETH, has it bottomed as an asset? Sentiment, I feel confident saying sentiment for ETH has bottomed. Has ETH as the price bottomed?
why should it be worth? What is it worth? 400 billion?
I don't know.
It's like 400 billion, no?
Yeah. Actually, here's a better question. What do you think Sol ETH ends at this
It's
cycle?
at 30, 36. What is it? Sol is a
What is this chart?
Sol's
That's
Sol
not.
0.07. Can we go? Yeah. I'd like to think of it as a percentage of market cap. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, it's 0.02, 0.03, give or take.
Do you hit 0.1 this cycle?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, obviously, I was very aggressive in my prediction a year ago that Sol would flip ETH. It's flipped on a number of metrics: capital efficiency, activity, users. Like,
Anyways.
what's a market cap ratio? It's, I think, a third, give or take. Like, it hovers between 33 and 36%, give or take, on a fully diluted basis.
Yeah.
Explain to me why it's not at like closer to 50, 60, 70%.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, just to tie the circle around, why are these networks worth what they are? I don't know, man. Like, a lot of 99% of this valuation of every single network is based on like some terminal value, like pie in the sky, settlement layer of the internet. The problem is we don't have 10 years to get there. Like, I don't know why, but like I feel a sense of urgency to grow into that valuation.
Yeah.
And prices go up and people forget, and oh, it's all relative valuation, everything's comp to Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, but that's not a good enough answer. Like, if you're at the I think this is why centralized like organizations from a BD standpoint are important, but also I do think that from my vantage point, I see some projects more laser focused on growing the pie and onboarding more users. I think that's the primary metric, not TVL,
Yeah.
not anything else other than how do we get, if you reference the A16Z report that kind of gets into like a 30 to 60 million like active users, I want that number to grow 10x in the next 4 years. And ideally in use cases that are more deep and focused, because the retention of that user is higher. You know what I mean? Like, if they're using Helium, they're using stable coins. They're not just here to buy the Trump meme coin. It is an important onboarding mechanism. Speculation for sure. Is it ever going to go away? No, you don't want it to. It's important. But I do think that percentage should go down over time. Otherwise, we would have done something wrong, crypto. But the tech is ready, I think.
Yeah.
Like, we have an excess of block space right now.
Yeah.
Way more block space. That wasn't the case like 4 years ago, man.
Yeah. All right. Next topic.
Okay.
Pivot to
10 minutes left.
We're on the clock now?
We're on the clock, yeah.
All right. We got to hit 1 hour on the dot.
On the dot.
On the dot. It's bull market. Time is precious.
Vine. Yeah, good pivot.
Vine, pivot. All right, Russ. Russ is the founder of Vine. He's also the founder of HQ Trivia. Vine, if you don't know Vine, you missed the glory days of the internet.
It's just schizophrenic scrolling.
I won't explain it to you. It's it had TikTok before TikTok had before it had the algo. It was TikTok without a good algorithm. Okay, Vine, founder of Vine, launched a meme coin, and this thing freaking ripped. It pumped to
330
500. It ticked 500 million on the chart. It is now down to 161. When
Vine was never worth more than like what?
Vine sold for, here's your tech trivia of the day, 30 million, I want to say.
36 million?
Somewhere between 30 and 50 million in roughly 2012 or 2013, I would guess. But by the way, back then, 30 million, 40 million is a good amount. But so this guy sells his company for 30 million. He's got a meme coin worth 500 million. Not a question about valuations. It's more a question about, so I saw this thing. I tweeted about it when it was at, 25 million, being like some pithy tweet about, the attention economy. And but the sad thing,
self-deprecating, love to see it.
I was like, this is such a lame tweet. Attention economy where the token is the thing to value. I was like, God, I'm such a scrub.
While you're tweeting, you should have been buying, but yeah.
I also bought this because but here's what I want to get to. So I bought it because I was like, all right, this thing's stupid, but everybody else is going to buy this thing. And I was like, okay, that is the moment where I start saying, okay, that's kind of stage 4 behavior right there. And I think what you're seeing now is like the Trump coin kind of basically gave the stamp of approval for anyone to launch a token. Remember last cycle, everybody at the end was launching an NFT. Freaking Starbucks, everyone, celebrities, Justin Bieber.
Budweiser was tweeting about it.
Everybody. Gary Vaynerchuk had like 75 different collections of these things. Like anybody with attention on the internet was launching NFTs. It's gonna be the same thing now. Anybody with attention on the internet is gonna start launching meme coins. And the sad thing is, or the fun part for a little bit, is everyone's gonna buy them. These things are actually gonna work. They're gonna rip. These things are gonna go up. And it's basically, remember like a year ago, all the celebs were launching meme coins. They were right. They were just too early in the cycle. Though that's going to happen again. The difference is they're not going to go down 99%. They're going to go.
I'm not sure about that.
They're going to go up. These things are going to.
No, I mean, I think okay. We should have a meme coin panel and discussion because the half-life on most meme coins, I will continue to believe, is very short-lived.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing it now. I guess the counter argument here is this thing pumped.
It's all 160 million.
Look, this thing pumped to 500 million. It's down to 160.
What's circulating?
If you get enough of these things going up and then down really quickly, people are going to stop buying them, I guess, is the argument.
Yeah. But wait, can you go to the supply? Like, what's the so FTV 155 market cap? Oh, so it's like fully launched.
It's fully launched. Yeah.
Wow. How much did he take himself?
I am too much of a DEX screener scrub to see. How do I see this?
What's the insider percentage? There should be somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah, holders.
Go to.
How do you see it?
So the biggest holder is like 5%?
Yeah.
So the top 10 holders account for like
1, 2,
like 20%?
Yeah, roughly.
No, more than that.
5, 10, like 20, 12, 14, 17.
25%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 22%. Yeah, it's not terrible.
Yeah. Anyways, moral of the story is,
well, I guess he could have used 100 wallets. It owns like a ton of the supply.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't own more of the supply, honestly. But anyways, moral of the story is, I think I'm not saying we're near the end of the cycle, but I think this is a glimpse of what late stage cycles look like, where these things happen. And remember CMS's hot ball of money from the last cycle? Yeah. You're just kind of chasing the hot ball of money. Like in the beginning of a cycle, like stage 1 and 2, and even into 3, like the hot ball of money, like is kind of like a warm ball of money. Like it just moves from thing to thing. Like you had like a month to trade Hyperliquid. You had like a month to long that thing. You had like a month to like long Fartcoin. Now it's like boom, day. Hot ball of money is just flying around the industry. And everyone's gonna make a bunch of money, but this is a glimpse of how this thing tops.
Well, not everyone, but yeah, true. Not everyone can always make a bunch of money. Like that's just not how markets work. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Markets. Thank you.
No. I mean, obviously, I don't know.
These things are more PvP than normal. Actually, in the last cycle, I will say, didn't it feel like everybody was making money?
Yeah, but.
Why is that?
It's a sentiment. You feel it, but it's not really the case. I mean, a lot of people lost a ton of money on NFTs that were just really hard to get out of.
No, I know, but when everything was going up last cycle, I'm actually curious. I want to get your take on this. Last cycle, when everything was going up, it felt like everybody was making a lot of money. Now it's everything's going up. Actually, the difference is not everything's going up. It's all concentration.
There's a big dispersion.
Yeah, it's memes, Bitcoin, and Sol.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's your answer.
Also, I would argue that who is making money now is more the TikTok folks. They're really glued and focused here. It's also the Solana ecosystem more as a whole.
I mean, I see things like I'm only allowed to say this because he tweeted about it publicly, but freaking, I see this tweet, and I'm like, Joseph, our podcast producer, tweeted just made 2 million on Trump coin, and I'm like, that is a love you, Joseph. Thanks for editing this podcast, but that's a toppy, it's a toppy thing right there.
Yeah, I sold my Trump coin when I saw that. I love you, Joseph. But yeah, I sold it then and there. I think it was
Joseph is about to edit this podcast so poorly. He's gonna screw up. He's gonna change your voice.
Joseph, much love.
But yeah, I know it's again, you have, I think you and I are coming at it the same way, which is we share two different things, two conflicting perhaps ideas. It's more of a timing thing. It's like the setup for crypto has never been better, but at the same time, this type of phenomenon in meme coin land feels very euphoric.
It also feels very PvP and very like not value.
So pay attention to that, right? And I think anytime it feels like it's too easy to make money, just remember it's not you. You're not that smart. Probabilistically, like once you make a 10x in a day, then the probability of you making a 10x on that is very, very low. And so, said differently, if you make 10x like in 3 days, and you keep doing that over and over and over, you will become the best investor in the history of the world. And I guarantee you, it's not going to be you. Like with a 99.9% probability, it's not going to be you. So just take the win. But moments like this, just if you can change your life, change your life. 2 million is a lot of money. Like if you can take that, great. But just remember, like it's not normal for things. Like there's gravity to things. Markets just do their thing, right? And when an asset goes parabolic, like even for the presidential meme coin, there is gravity. Markets are always going to do their thing. Like things can't keep going up. Just be mindful of that. Yeah. And anytime you think it's too easy to make money, just check yourself. It's not the case.
Check yourself before you.
What's it?
Dude, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Oh, okay. I don't know, man. This is how you know I'm too old. God damn, make me feel old. This is a great way to end the podcast.
That's a good way to end.
I just embarrassed myself. We're 59 minutes and 30 seconds. Anything else as we round it up?
No, last take here is I screenshotted this iPhone apps thing. It's like the top 10 apps. And I thought it was less interesting to me that these crypto apps are on the App Store. It was more, that was the moment actually taking that screenshot was when I realized, oh, fintech is not a real thing. There's no such thing as fintech. There's only TradFi, which runs on TradFi rails, and crypto, which runs on crypto rails. And eventually I'm putting quotes around this word, fintech will move on to crypto rails, or they'll get stuck on TradFi rails. There's only two sets of rails. There's not, fintech was just a nice UI wrapper on TradFi rails. And I thought about that. I'd heard it. I'd internalized it, but it never really clicked for me.
Crypto is more of a social. I think of like social apps like Phantom and Moonshot. They're social, very much social, with money, which makes it like it's like going to Vegas.
Did you invest in Moonshot?
No, man, I was kidding myself. Like I was kicking myself. Like I got intro to them by the guys at Alliance who've crushed it. But at the time, I think the round was kind of closed and stuff like that. But man, they've just executed.
Why is Moonshot? Why are they crushing it?
From a discovery standpoint, I mean, it's just like a great app.
You can just buy.
They're also tapping a lot. It's like the surfacing insights. I haven't really used it much, but it's just really easy to discover assets, and I think they're tapping into the whole pump fund kind of apparatus, and so yeah.
Interesting. Santi, good chat.
Thank you, sir. Any books, things, or should you just be glued to the screen and paying attention to the news? I think that's fairly.
I just finished. What's his? Not Josh Kushner. Jared Kushner's book.
Oh, good.
Self-aggrandizing, but also interesting stories about the first term. I wanted to listen. I know very little about the Middle East, actually. Like a big hole in my knowledge. So I just wanted to learn about the Middle East, and he led a lot of like the Abraham Accords and a lot of the Middle East dealings. And now he runs a big fund where they've raised from, all those guys. And so I just wanted to learn some of those stories. I thought it was a good, I listened to it on Audible. I thought it was a solid Audible, nothing to write home about, but but good stories.
Yeah.
His episode on Invest Like the Best was really good. I would listen to that episode of Invest Like the Best.
Nice. That's awesome.
What about you?
Nothing really. I don't think I'm just been one speed thinking about one thing. No, I'm serious. Like I'm very much founder mode, I guess.
Wow.
But yeah, no. I know, I never thought I'd say that.
All right, folks. Good chat. Good chat.
Locked in, ladies and
Good
gentlemen.
hanging
Thanks
with
for
all of
this.
you. Yeah, if you're
Thanks.
not in the Empire Telegram, go hang in the Empire Telegram. Don't know how to tell you to find it, unfortunately, but I think it might be a if you know, you know type of thing. I literally don't know how to point you to it. Wink, yeah. Anyways,
All right.
good seeing you,
so
folks.
much, everyone. It was so nice chatting. See you next week.
Bye. Hey everyone, just wanted to give a quick thanks to today's title sponsor, GEODNET. By setting up a base station, you can get involved with this groundbreaking Web3 ecosystem. Learn more by heading over to geodnet.com or just by hitting the link in the description of today's episode.